Okay, we're talking staggered deadlifts today. So, feet are staggered, okay? I see sometimes people turn it into like this weird far stance, almost lunge hinge thing. We're going a tight stance. So, my back foot, I don't know what, you can't see any of this. So, normal deadlift here, like the stance. And then for staggered deadlift, I'm just gonna kick it like here, so my toe is by my heel, and then just off and then back. Maybe somewhere around here. Everyone's gonna be slightly different, so you're gonna have to play around with your stance. I saw someone once go like heel to heel and then twist on their toes, and that's a pretty good stance like that. Some people like to turn their toe out a little bit. Doesn't really matter. This back foot is more of a kickstand. So this front leg is doing like 90 to 95% of the work. The goal is to not really bend the knee. Now we're turning it into like a staggered squat. Okay, the goal is more of that hinge. So this knee is going to be bent a little bit, but we're not actually letting it travel forward. If I made a line from my kneecap down, it would go to like my midfoot, and it's not really bending any more than that. Okay, the bend is coming through the hips and not through the back either. So the staggered deadlift is wonderful because it'll allow you to really load up the hamstrings and the glutes a lot more without having to add so much weight where you would with a typical standard deadlift. So this one's more of a Romanian deadlift. So we're gonna go up and down without dropping the bar. I have it, the trap bar here flipped upside down. So this would allow for more range at the bottom. Great if you got it. Don't overreach if you can't do it, if you can't get to that deep range. Sometimes what you can do is, oh my God. Sometimes what you can do is squat the bar up like that and then get your stance set up at the top so you're not picking it up from a wonky position. So slight bend of the front knee, back foot is my kickstand, and I'm hinging my butt to the back wall. Slow on the way down. I'm gonna stop right here, and then I'm gonna drive this heel into the floor. So down, slow. On the way down, I'm starting to feel that stretch all along there. I'm keeping my back strong, and then I'm driving this heel into the floor, okay? You'll find when you're at the bottom here, you could almost play around, you don't have to like lift your toes up, but you can play around with lifting them up like you're playing a little piano. And you're gonna feel your weight shift onto the heel, which is good. When you feel that weight shift on the heel, you know you're actually sending all your weight back and you're hinging it forward as opposed to letting that knee go forward for the squat. We're not trying to do the squat. So here, hinge butt back, kind of chest forward, stretch through hammies and glutes, and then on the way up, drive that heel into the floor. If you do it right, you'll feel your butt light up a fuck ton. I'm not even using weight, my ass is feeling it. So, pause. What happened? Where am I? Sometimes, and this goes for any deadlift, people will start almost reaching to the floor, and then they start complaining, why does my back hurt when I do deadlifts? It's like, well, because you're using all of your back, okay? Again, not necessarily chest up, because then that looks really wonky. You want to think of keeping everything from a straight line from head, neck, shoulders, down to your hips, okay? But think of packing the shoulder or the shoulders down, yeah. So squeeze those lats, pretend like you're almost doing an armpit fart, okay? Lock the elbows into the sides. You're gonna feel these lats tighten up, stiffen up, and that is gonna keep you nice and strong. That's the goal. So doesn't really matter how low you go. Sometimes you might feel a wicked hamstring strength stretch when you start doing it to about there. That's fine. It doesn't mean keep going, okay? If you overreach and you run out of hip range, now it's just going to turn into like a spine bend move, which is not what we're aiming for, and it gets real ugly when you start overloading it. So with the staggered deadlift, real nice stretch in the hammies, the glutes, without having to overload the spine as much as you normally would with a typical RDL or conventional deadlift. Another thing you want to think of is keeping that head straight. I know typically we're told to like keep your eyes on something, but as soon as you start doing this, now my neck's really out of whack here. So pretend that you got a fist or a tennis ball or a orange or a dog toy, something fist size. Keep that under the chin the whole way. Okay, it's just gonna keep a nice neutral line from head down to the shoulders. And then one thing you can play around with as well is having the back foot up against the wall. It'll allow you to really shift the weight back, so like butt towards the wall, and you should be able to really feel that stretch in the hammies. Sometimes people just don't have that connection to it just yet when they're doing like a staggered stance. So try this. Again, you're not putting too much weight into this kickstand leg. It's just there for a little bit of balance and support. Another option you do is like have this back foot on a box. Play around with it. If you're having trouble connecting to that stretch, don't start overloading it. That's when bad things happen, okay? Connect with using hammies and glutes, keeping the back, spine from neck down to hips strong. Then you can start going heavy, okay? Last little piece I can give you is sometimes people don't know that they're rounding when they go down. Take a video of yourself, get a friend to, or you can do it in a mirror and just kind of take a glance over when you're at the bottom. One thing that's been useful for a lot of people is having some sort of feedback, a stick on the back, making sure that you're keeping a straight line from your head, spine, and hips, okay? So you can get a friend to hold this, a friend that you trust, not a random person at the gym, maybe, I don't know. I don't really know how public gyms work. I've been blessed to have a facility where I can do goofy shit and not feel ashamed. But stick here. So you want to think points of contact are head. Head cannot leave the stick. Upper back. Some people will start having their back arch too much like that, and now this is not a really strong position, especially when we start overloading it a bunch. So head, mid back, like mid to upper back, and then my butt. Okay, so yeah, I can hold it here myself, or again, get a stranger and hinge down slow. Okay, right now I felt my upper back coming off, so I gotta make that check. So it's the head, upper / mid back, and the hips. Okay, not really my low back, right? Like if I let my low back come there, then my head comes off. If I try and make my head back, then it's super awkward there. These are things to play around with, okay? Oh shit. Blood on the sea, Baltimore. So moral of the story, in the deadlift position or the hinge position, it's the hammies and the glutes that are doing most of the work. The low back is involved. It should not be taking the brunt of that entire exercise. Okay, that's when people start to hurt themselves. They start to get that low back pain develop, and then maybe you're one of those people where you start feeling that low back pain, so you stop doing deadlifts because you think deadlifts are the problem, but it's not the movement. It's you're doing the movement wrong. So take a look, like pull back the layers like an onion, you know? So go back to the core of the movement and try and figure out what's going down. What are you doing wrong? So we're rambling. Anything we're missing? Find hammies and glute. Find that connection to it. Then you can start loading it up. Try the staggered position. Try maybe like a legit single leg position here. You can use something for balance. You can try, what's this? The yoga warrior 3 position there. Whatever. You can do the back foot on the wall. Don't start loading a shit ton of weights thinking like it's going to solve your problems. Okay, it's going to give you more problems. From there, you're going to build more resistance through the spine, hammies, hips, all that. Yeah, if you got any questions, let me know.